Last season, Southampton suffered the ignominy of being relegated, finishing bottom of the Premier League 11 points from safety. And while they find themselves third this season in the Championship, they're in need of a rebuild. They've lost James Ward-Prowse to West Ham and Romario Lavia to Chelsea. It's time for a rebuild and to see if we can take them back to the Premier League. Okay, so as we said in the intro, Southampton have been relegated, and not only that, their squad has been absolutely decimated by losing players to Premier League sides. James Ward-Prowse, Romario Lavia's gone, and it just looks a mess. And the worst thing is, the board aren't even pushing for a promotion. They just want us to work towards getting there over the next 5 years. Well, that's not good enough for me, and it's not good enough for you guys. So we're going to be looking to get back to the Premier League the first time of asking. Now, as I mentioned, Southampton's squad has been absolutely decimated, which means we've got some recovery to do. However, let's have a look who's left. Tyler Livramento will be leaving to go to Newcastle, which is a massive loss on the right-hand side of the defence. Romeo Lavia's also agreed a deal to go to Chelsea, where I guarantee he sees exactly 0 minutes of Premier League football. And of course, James Ward-Prowse left. Now he's going to West Ham, and that again is a transfer that's arranged when we launch the game in real-world mode, so he won't be registered in our squad. We have also lost other players. We've also lost Nathan Teller, Moussa Djenepo, as well as Lianco, who is going out on loan to Al Ghafria in Saudi. So all in all, we have lost an awful lot of players. But we've done a little bit of business to try and recover from the position we found ourselves in when we took over the club. We brought in Jesse Lingard on a free transfer, Bobby Clark on loan from Liverpool for a season. We signed Daniel Ballard from Sunderland, Ben Sheaf from Coventry, and Mark McGuinness from Cardiff. Real Madrid also signed Juan Larios. Now, they did loan him back to us for a season, which means we don't lose him until next season. Hopefully, he won't be too big of a miss. We've also signed Ryan Manning, Shea Charles, Josh McNamara and Derek Caboot on a free transfer, but they were done before we took over. Now, there are some big players still to leave the team, and that could improve our transfers. So we might see some ins and outs by the end of the transfer window. However, we're on the eve of our first game against Sheffield Wednesday. And if we actually have a look at the start of our season, Sheffield Wednesday, Watford, Norwich and Plymouth up in the first 4 means 2 of those 4 are winnable. Watford and Norwich will be difficult games. But let's see how we get on. So let's go and get through season 1, see if we can get back to the Premier League, see who left and who came in. All right, so our first season is now in the bag. Let's see how we got on. Remember, the board wanted us to push for promotion. Well, if we have a look at the league table, we finished 4th. Now, at one point, we were hovering between 2nd and 3rd, but we did end up finishing 4th with 92 points, which is impressive in itself when you consider Leicester won the league with 107, Norwich got 105, Leeds 93, we got 92. That's an impressive top 4, not to mention Blackburn got 87. That is really, really good, considering other seasons, 90 points would win you this league. So for us to finish 4th with 92, really, really happy. 96 goals and 51 conceded. And as you can see, we did win the playoffs. The final that we have just had with Leeds, amazing. Let me just go into this. Oh, incredible. It looked like we'd won it in 90 minutes, and then in 97th minute, Wilfried Gnotto scored. He made it 3-3. We scored straight, they scored first in extra time, and then we scored later on, and honestly, just sensational. Seiko Mara coming in with 2 extra time goals to see us promoted to the Premier League at the first time of asking. Now, in terms of the other competitions, they went great, but they weren't important either. Let's just remember that. So we were knocked out in the 3rd round by Liverpool in the FA Cup, and we lost in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup to Man City. So we did pretty well to get there. And in terms of the players who will be leaving us over the summer, at least who will be leaving that we know now, Shea Adams has decided to leave on a free transfer. He's been offered a contract in Saudi Arabia with Al Riyadh. And Katsir Kar, he's going to Lyon, but he's been on loan there for this season anyway, so that doesn't really matter. And the board has backed us to succeed and backed us with some money, £43 million to spend over the next couple of weeks to strengthen our Premier League bid. So I'll get on with that. Let me show you who we brought in. All right, then, so we are about to start our first season back in the Premier League, and let's have a look at what's gone on over the summer. But before we do, season preview, and as you can see there, we are predicted to finish bottom, 900 to 1 to win the league. I mean, that would be impressive, but that's not what we're going for. We want to get a mid-table finish, and then next season we can push on to European football and kind of go from there. Now, it's been a busy summer for players coming in. We obviously had to replenish the squad from last season because players we brought in were good enough for the Championship, but nowhere near good enough for the Premier League. And we really did dip into the free market, bringing in Anthony Martial, Brandon Williams, and Papa Gueye from Marseille, all on free transfers, while making 5.5 million on players going out: Shea Adams, Katzlakar, Zakawe, and Jem Hewlett. But that wasn't the only transfers we made. At the back end of last season, we signed Rob Holding from Crystal Palace for £7.5 million. We signed Donny van de Beek from Manchester United for £4.5 million as well to really strengthen the centre of the park. We went big on Josh Brownhill. Now, he cost us £13 million, but again, it strengthens the centre of the park, which was a real weak area for us. We got Ryan Sessegnon on a free as his contract was coming up, and that was a key player in the wing-back position, as our wing-back last season it was on loan from Real Madrid. And we also brought in Sam Mather on a free transfer from Manchester United just to strengthen up our academy. Now, on the whole, we have a really good squad for this season. I'm really hopeful we can put up a good challenge and get to where we want to in the Premier League. It's going to be tough, and there are rumours as well that the board are in the process of a takeover. So when we come back after this season, we could have brand new owners and they might not want to keep me in a job. There's only one way to find out. So let's get on with this season and we'll see how we do. All right, so we've just finished our first season in the Premier League. Let's see how we got. Now, we finished 14th. We got 42 points. We were well clear of the relegation zone as Everton, Wolves and Fulham got relegated. So there's a couple of teams there we could maybe raid for players for next season. However, as well, 42 points. We were 18 behind West Ham in 6th, and we were only 14 behind Arsenal in 7th. So we're not a million miles away. Let's have a look at who performed best in terms of goals this season. Anthony Martial got 19 goals, 41 games. Next top scorer was Sulemana with 6. So we really did kind of struggle in that regards there. But Martial came in. He has opted to explore his options at the end of his contract. I think that might be up this year. Let's have a look. He is 29 years old. No, we've got in front of the season. So, that's positive. And in terms of the money we've been given £20 million. Not a massive amount, but that will partially again be because the season's just ended and we're still in the process, believe it or not, of a board takeover. Bloody amazing. Anyway, we're going to do the summer now. We're going to see who we bring in and we will show you who came in, who left over the course of the next couple of weeks before we start season 3 in the Premier League. All right, so we're about to start our third and final season of this rebuild to see if we can take Southampton into European football, or at the very least make them a sustainable Premier League team. We did really well last year and we've got to build on it. So we are 400-1 to win the Premier League, but they do predict us to finish 18th, so better than last year when they predicted us to finish 20th. And I do think we've improved the squad immensely. In terms of players we brought in Harry Wilson for £20 million from Fulham after they were relegated to bring some competition on the right-hand side of the midfield. We signed Andre Lunin from Spurs for £15 million to be our first choice goalkeeper, as he looks like he could be a real player for the years to come. And we signed Jose Cordoba from Everton for £11 million. Big improvement in the centre of our defence and somebody who could make a massive difference as the season progresses. We also brought in some experience in the form of Christian Eriksen, who was released on a free transfer by Manchester United, and although he's 33 years of age, he is a good squad player who will add some much needed creativity to our midfield. And the big player to leave the club this summer was Brandon Williams, who joined Coventry for £8 million. Now that could rise to 12.5 depending on what he does during his time with the Blues. But it's a sad day to see him go. I really thought he might be an important squad player. Sadly, he just never got going. Now, in terms of what the board wants us to achieve, they are happy with just avoiding relegation as well, but we're not. We want to be getting in that top half, pushing for European football. The takeover didn't happen, and the board are letting us run down our contract. This is our last season before our contract expires, and it'll be interesting whether they even want to keep us on. However, we're going to do our very best. We're going to try and get into Europe and see what happens. So let's get on with this season and let's see exactly what we can achieve in our final season of the Southampton rebuild. All right, so our third and final season of this 3-season rebuild is in the books. Let's have a look how we got on. We finished mid-table 12th. Now, we said we wanted to push for European places, and we were some distance off, but you will see why that happened. I have never seen such a bad run of form that no matter what a team does, they can't get a win. It's just, and to finish what we did after the start we had, incredible. Really, really well, turned it round. Really impressively. So we got 48 points, 14 wins, 6 draws, and 18 defeats. So we needed to turn some of those defeats to draws, and we could have been pushing up here. But what we have done is turn Southampton into a sustainable mid-table team, which was the goal. They'd been relegated. They'd massively underperformed for years. We've rebuilt the team with some youth, some experience, and we've turned them into a mid-table team that can push on from here and get European football. That was the goal of this rebuild. Let's have a look at the data hub then. So, I mean, as you can see, in terms of things like non-penalty goals, we are much higher. And our pass completion is slightly less than the Premier League. And expected goals is considerably less. But overall, it's not been a bad performance. In terms of the performers of the season, let's have a look at top goal scorers. Now, last season, we had Anthony Martial racked up 19 goals. He was the 3rd top goal scorer in the Premier League last season. This year, he got 11. Donny van der Beek chipped in with 9. Harry Wilson, 8. So not terrible overall. And as when you look at it, Andrew Lunin, 40 appearances. He conceded 64 goals over the course of the season, which isn't great, but it's his first season, 27 years old, and I'm sure he will improve. So that's how it went down. Now, obviously, we never got the takeover from the board. We did achieve everything the board wanted us to do, and we got to that mid-table security. So overall, quite happy with that 3-season rebuild. Now, this save file will be available to download. If you do want it, just drop a comment below and let me know, and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any future rebuilds. Our next one is going to be the big one. It's going to be Chelsea FC. Underperformed for years. Can we turn them back into the title challengers that they once were? We're going to focus on 3-season rebuilds just because they're a bit quicker in terms of the video as well, and I hope you like the format. And if there is a team you'd like to see me do, let me know in the comments below. Remember, I'm on Twitch 2 days a week as well, so if you want to jump over there, hit the like button, or the follow button, sorry, over on Twitch, and I'll be able to see you in my player to gaffer series, where we have taken a former top tier player, turned him into a manager, and we're going to see just how hard it is to do what Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard have done. So I'll see you all soon. You have a good one, guys.